entrepreneur mindset and you think of like a normal person, jacked muscle, like beast mode.
I'm building my business right now. Gotta be the richest person ever. Like, you're talking to me in the bar on Thursday night.
Like,
Like,
hates his fucking guts.
yeah.
You think he cares?
You want like a really rewarding and fulfilling life. Entrepreneur mindset is probably the only way.
At the end of the day, if you got this mindset, guys, you are going to crush it at your job. You are going to crush it. Your boss going to love you so much. You're going to give you all the promotions. You're going to get all that money. Your wife's going to love you more. Your kid's going to love you more. What's up, guys? Welcome back to another fire episode of the Winners Club podcast, where even when we don't win, we learn, and learning is a form of winning. Let's go. Let's go. Monster kicked in real hard today, so you guys are in for a real treat. Boom. Big episode, guys, about... PJ, hit it off. What are we talking about?
Yo, so it's going to be a fire episode, guys. I just really want to dive in and talk about the entrepreneur mindset and mentality, because I think it's a very important thing.
Yes.
Right? Yeah. So I just want to put this out there, yo, like, even if you're not trying to be an entrepreneur, I feel like the entrepreneur mindset is the number one.
It's the warrior's mindset.
That's pretty much what it is, to sum it up. If you want like a really rewarding and fulfilling life, I feel like entrepreneur mindset is probably the only way. Because there's some good stuff in there. Like, I don't understand why nobody would want to think like,
You don't have to be an entrepreneur. You could be a W-2 worker. But at the end of the day, if you got this mindset, guys, you are going to crush it at your job. You are going to crush it. Your boss is going to love you so much. You're going to give you all the promotions. You're going to get all that money. Your wife's going to love you more. Your kid's going to love you more.
You're going to attract more babes, more dudes, whatever.
Everything.
That's the crazy part, right? It's going to improve your life. So
yes.
You guys need this, man. If you're on a drive, cruise. Let's get
ready.
into it.
Buckle up. Put your seatbelts on.
So
rock your world.
Brian, so what do you think? Like, just realistically, like, what do you think the most important aspects of entrepreneur mindset, right? Like, what is the specifics that you think is the most important?
It's honestly like, if you were to think of like the entrepreneur mindset and you think of like a normal person, the entrepreneur mindset is like, dude, this guy got jacked muscle, got bulletproof vest on, got an armored car.
Yeah.
It's like,
but those are the results of the mindset.
V8 horsepower engine, 500 pounds of horsepower, 500 pounds feet of torque.
Straight up.
Like beast mode.
Yeah.
But it's also reliable. It's like a Toyota.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then the regular mindset is like that rink-a-dink, the car that doesn't always start.
The hand-me-down car.
Yeah, like that.
Yeah.
It doesn't start.
Yeah.
And then it's like the guy that got no muscles.
Yeah.
Like easily to get pushed over.
Yeah.
When they walk in a room, nobody knows who the heck they are.
Yeah.
Right? They don't have that aura.
That's the monkey mind.
Yeah. So
honestly, that's what it's called. It's called the monkey mind.
I didn't know that. What's the monkey mind?
There's the monk mind and the monkey mind.
Oh,
just to take it to the spiritual side.
Let's go on a tangent. Tell me what it is.
Yeah, it's pretty much. I mean, I learned it from like Jay Shetty. It's just the monk mindset is being not blaming yourself, the negativity. The monkey mind is just like when someone's like, hey, like, dude, I know this opportunity, we can make some money, and it's like, nah. There's no way, like, there's no possibility. That's the monkey mindset, right? Yeah. Because you're not seeing like the opportunities in the world, right?
Okay.
It's just being closed off,
Well, all right, monk mind and a monkey mind. I like that.
Yeah, man.
So if you look at the mindset of a true entrepreneur, what you will find is someone who has a lot of self-confidence, someone who, like, the reason why I brought up the armor and all that stuff in a strong, durable engine is because it's like they can deflect.
Yeah.
Right? Like,
it's like
as
thick
an entrepreneur,
skin, right?
you got to have really thick skin, and you got to be able to take the hits.
Let's talk about that first.
Yeah, you got to be able to, like, think of a tank, right? If you shoot it with a machine gun, it just kind of bounces off. Yeah. Right? It won't penetrate it.
Do you think that, like, having thick skin, of the entrepreneur mindset, do you think that is the number
100%.
one? You think that's the number one?
Because the entrepreneur is out there to win. Yeah. The entrepreneur hates losing. The problem is that if the entrepreneur is always going to get criticized. Yeah. Elon Musk, no matter how rich he is, 50% of the population probably hates him. Yeah. Right? That's how it is. Donald Trump, you got half the country who love him, the other half hates his fucking guts. Yeah. You think he cares? He probably does. Yeah. But he's got thick skin. He's like, yo, what? I don't care.
Yeah, you're not gonna help me do anything in my life. Let me just go my direction. I think that's super important.
Mm-hmm. So that's an entrepreneur, because like you're gonna face difficulties where you're just gonna have to have resilience.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, there's gonna be a ton. I think resilience and having thick skin super important, because you're going to have a lot of people, whenever you're going to start your business. I know it's going to happen. Someone's going to tell you, you can't do it. That's too hard.
Yep.
Or you're never going to make it. Or like blah, blah, blah. You should get something secure. And you're going to need thick skin. Like if you want the millions, you're going to need to block out that BS and be like, I'm a tread my own water and, go my own path.
Yeah.
Even if you're not trying to build your own business, what if you're like, oh, I want to go to this pottery class, and I tell my friend like, hey, let's go to this pottery class. He's like, you're lame, you're a loser. Who does that, right? And that's taking joy from you. If you were just like, I'm gonna have thick skin, like I want to do this, I'm gonna do that.
But you know what? Here's a perfect example of having thick skin.
Yeah.
Having thick skin doesn't necessarily mean like you're just not gonna listen to advice.
Okay.
But it's actually being able to get criticism.
Okay, yeah, let's go to this too.
Without like basically either getting defensive and shutting it off or letting it affect you.
Yeah, because it's going to stunt your growth, right?
But it's actually taking that criticism and saying, is there truth in this and how can I fix it? Mm-hmm. Or is it just bullshit and I'm just going to like, bing, let it bounce off. Right? But also, I'm going to give you guys a caveat with that is that you should never take advice from somebody who is like not richer than you, not stronger. Like if I'm taking health advice, they better be healther and stronger. If I'm taking money advice, they better be richer than me.
All right, dude. Let's just go.
So I'm just saying, like, be careful with where you get advice. Yeah. But let's assume that they are richer than you, they're more successful than you, and they give you business advice, and it goes against like what you're currently doing.
Yeah.
Do you have thick enough skin to be like, okay, let it into your mind.
Yeah.
But then let it process.
Yeah.
And then maybe see if you're actually on the right path or not. And then if you're not, like,
100%,
maybe take that advice.
I'm gonna say it right here. I mean, we're all thinking it, right? Mm-hmm. If somebody else went to you and was like, dude, like, are you doing okay, man? Like, yo, you're getting fat, and it's your choice at that point. Like, are you gonna be defense mode?
Yeah.
Or are you gonna be like, and open up, be vulnerable to the truth of the world?
Yeah.
Right? Like, perfect example of like having thick skin. Like, you don't need business to just realize that.
That's a little bit easier because you can look in the mirror and be like, damn, holy shit, I'm fat. You can't hide that.
Yeah.
Right? Like, that's a little bit easier. And then it's ultimately up to you to decide whether or not, like, hey, I'm going to do something about it or not.
Yeah.
Like, we go back to the fitness side, but the fitness side is actually a little bit harder than, a little bit easier than, let's say, the financial side or even like,
okay, well,
family affairs. You know what I mean? Because that's a little bit more intricate. Whereas, like, dude, if you're looking in the mirror and you're freaking obese and your doctor tells you that you are on the obese side, there's no debating that, right?
Yeah.
You are obese.
Yeah.
But if somebody said, hey, you could be doing better, let's just say, like, relating it back to money, and they go, hey, you could be doing X, Y, and Z and making $1 million instead of your $500,000.
Yeah.
But then, then again, it comes down to clarity. Are you happy with the $500,000? Does that provide enough for your family? Are you complaining? Are you not complaining?
For sure.
And if that's the case, then you can take that advice, but you don't always have to act on it.
Yeah.
But if you're fat, it's like that's night and day.
All right, let's put in another example because, of having thick skin, right? Like, I remember back to the story, I wanted to buy a sick EV Tesla Model Y. And I was like, Brian, I'm about to buy this sick car, right? And you're like, that's dumb. You shouldn't do that, right? You ask me a whole lot of questions. Do you have your 10-month reserve? This and this. You should buy investment property first and all this stuff, right? And in my head, I was like, you're ruining on my parade.
Yeah.
And I was mad. I was like, dude, what the hell? Like, who is this person?
My Tesla.
Yeah, I want my Tesla. And then I looked at it. I was like, yo, like, is he really trying to like just break me down? But I was like, I want to be where he wants to be, right? Like, I want
you know
more
what's
money.
Funny? If you bought that Tesla, you would have been probably, because he did 2 price drops since then.
Oh yeah, I would have been negative.
Dude, you would have been so negative.
Hella negative, right?
But that was that's different.
But, yeah, I needed thick skin though to be like, oh, like maybe I don't need that right now. And he's coming from good advice. So maybe
now you could probably get it because now it's really cheap.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. Now if you bought it, I'm like, all right, that makes sense. Sell your Lexus and get that.
Yeah, that's fair, right?
But you're in a different situation now. You and Cristiano are like crushing it.
Exactly, yeah. So
it's different now.
Yeah, but had I not had thick skin, I was like, yeah, screw that. I mean,
yeah, you would have just bought it.
I'm like, screw it. And I would have destroyed everything. But yeah, I don't know. Just in perspective, hopefully you guys are, vibing with this conversation because we're really just spinning stuff out. just from the heart. But what is another thing that you think that is super important that people need?
Building off on that is that as an entrepreneur, you should also know that you're not all knowing and that you're not like the top.
I think that's
the true entrepreneur mindset is always constantly learning and accepting new ideas and then bringing it into their own mind and saying, okay, does this conflict? Is it kind of aligned? And then they take that and they try to adapt and grow. That is what you have to do as an entrepreneur. And that's why I'm saying, like, the warrior mindset is you're always learning new tactics.
Yeah.
Like, think of it this way. If you were to do the same thing year after year, like, it's going to be hard to grow.
Yeah.
Right? You have to learn the new way of doing things. For example, we wholesale. We flip and we wholesale. But imagine if we kept to the same standard we were doing 5 years ago. We'd be losing our ass, right? Yeah. So we had to learn from other people and learn from their mistakes and say, okay, they're no longer buying properties in this condition. They're doing like shorter flips, no major flaws, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay. So I take that and I interpret. I say, do I agree with this or do I disagree or are they right? And again, like, even if it goes against what we're currently doing, I have to not just shut it down and be like, nah, they're stupid.
Yeah.
People do that a lot. They're like, nah, that's stupid. I'm not gonna listen to them. Oh, they're whatever.
Yeah.
Like, true entrepreneurs take it and then they process it.
Yeah.
And then they determine what the outcome is going to be and what path they're going to go down.
Yeah.
So always learn. You're not the best.
Yeah. Always like being a student.
Yep.
Right. And I think that's a really big one, right? Especially like in the beginning. I feel like for me, all the times when I was able to like learn a lot, like I had to surrender and be like, I don't know it all. And that was the only time that allowed me to like propel faster. Because if I think like, oh, I have no reason. If I think I know it all, I have no reason to be better.
Yep.
Right. And like, I think in the beginning, like that's what I had to do, especially when I just started video editing. I was like, I don't know. I have to like admit that I suck and I don't know anything. Yep. Right? And I think that's the best thing that you could do. You're like, I'm ground zero.
Because ground zero every day. When you're kind of like, I mean, sometimes people are more willing to help that person than the arrogant one.
Yeah.
Yeah,
like definitely.
If somebody comes in like, oh, they know it all. I'm like, oh, okay. All right. Then what are you here for?
Yeah.
They don't want to help you.
Yeah. And don't do that. Don't do that. That's definitely going to hold you back a lot. But yeah, I think that one's a big one. Like every day being basically like ground zero. Because what if you woke up every day and you're like, you felt like you had nothing? Like, I'm going to go learn some stuff. I'm going to go learn some new skills. I'm a new dad. And I think that's really big for an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
What do you...
the third thing with the entrepreneur mindset, we talked about resilience. We talked about always learning. We talked about being able to have thick skin.
Yeah.
I think the fourth one is...
I got one on one.
Oh, okay. You know what? Yeah. Let's switch it around.
All right, let's switch it around,
let's do it. What you got?
I think one of the biggest one is going to be like sacrifice. Because...
delayed gratification, almost.
Almost there, too. I think so, too, because I think that, especially in the beginning, right? When you're just developing like the entrepreneur mindset, like I don't think you know really what it means to like sacrifice, like fun or events, going to like hanging out with your family or doing this or like saying like, oh no, I can't go out to eat. I have to work on my business, right? And I think that sacrifice is something that's so important because I think if you don't do it right in the beginning, like it's detrimental. What do you think?
I would say, so I'm tied to the delayed gratification because I don't want to make it sound like you have to live like sacrifice everything.
For sure.
But you do have to start making choices.
Yeah.
Because you do understand that you don't have unlimited time.
Yeah.
And so it's about like, not going out and drinking with your friends and knowing that, look, I'm not going to do that right now. I'm going to go and focus on my business. And when I make X and I have a little bit more free time, then I can go do it. And we're going to be able to do it at a bigger scale. We can drink better stuff. We can go eat at better restaurants.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's that delayed gratification. But if you go get drunk every night, every Saturday, most people get drunk Thursday, Friday, Saturday. They wake up hungover Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And then, realistically, you only get 4 days of working.
Yeah.
How does that benefit you as an entrepreneur, right? How does that make you a winner?
It doesn't.
If you're working at a basically handicap, dude, I'm hungover, I can't function.
Yeah.
It's hard.
Can you imagine being at the bar and you're talking to someone and then they're like, yeah, I'm freaking on a Thursday. And they're like, yeah, I'm building my business right now. I'm about to be the richest person ever.
It's not gonna.
It's like you're talking to me in the bar on Thursday night. Yeah. Like, come on, bro. Like, hey, where's the company? It's like, no, it's not started yet.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So it's like just understand that and understand that there will be a time and a place for it, and and just saying no to certain things. That's hard. I think that's like the mind. You have to like train your mind to do that because you're gonna get. I gotta know a lot of people that got FOMO. Yeah, and they're like, oh, I gotta show up. I gotta do this. I gotta be there. I'm like, bro, you need to actually not be there. You need to be at home, honing your skills, or out at an open house, or talking to more sellers, talking to more buyers. Do whatever you can to just get better at your hustle. Yeah, and then you can kind of enjoy. But I think the other thing is that the entrepreneur mindset. Just kind of just bridging off of it is that we don't compare. Yeah. You're competitive. Yeah. But at the end of the day, you just don't compare yourself to other people because that's a thief of joy. And also, you don't know there's levels. And then you just have to understand that you're in your own lane. Mm-hmm. And that as long as you push forward and the only competition really is yourself. Mm-hmm. I think that is the mindset, one of the most important mindsets of being an entrepreneur. Yeah. Because what happens is if you start comparing, man, it just eats you alive. Yeah. And it takes the joy out of being an entrepreneur. Yeah. It takes the joy out of being a warrior. Definitely. Right? Because you got to think of it this way too. Even some of the best warriors out there, Napoleon Bonaparte, Julius Caesar, these guys had great, we know them today as some of the best generals, leaders, basically winning a lot of wars and battle. Mm-hmm. But dude, they took a lot of L's too. Yeah. Right? And so just know that, it's about the big picture. Mm-hmm. And again, when you're competing against yourself and not trying to compete against others, I think that's the downfall to a lot of entrepreneurs. Yeah, for sure. They start doing dumb things. They want to catch up and become like, let's say, oh, my buddy over there got a nice Ferrari. Yeah. I got to have a nice Ferrari. Yeah. And then they buy it a little too prematurely and then it ends up putting them back a little bit. Yeah. So delayed gratification, but also that, like, if you never compared yourself in the first place, you would have been better off. Yeah. I get it. I think it's a very like thin line to walk because, I mean, again, right? It is a thin line. Yeah. It is a thin line. I mean, you should be competitive. Yeah. Yeah. Because I think that's the hard thing. But what happens when you come in second year after year after year after year? Yeah. Like I wasn't the number. I was top 30 under 30, but I wasn't number one. Yeah, right. Yeah. In San Francisco, the number one agent sold like 200 something million. Yeah, I sold, I think like 30 something. Right, like I'm not even nowhere near them. Yeah. And if I compared myself to him, I'd be like, yeah. How does that make you feel? Yeah. But then I didn't take away the fact that I was only at 20 million the year before. Yeah, you know what I mean? Yeah. So it's kind of different. Yeah, I think it's important though to like. Because I think it's important to compare yourself maybe like once in the beginning in a very like humble way, right? Like, okay, cool. Like, look at the world like, okay, Brian makes 10 mil. Hey, Brandon makes 5, this, that. And like, I make, X. Like, why don't I make that? And be like, I can. And then go to competitive mode but in a fun like way. Yeah, but my opinion. That's what I'm saying. It's a fine line because then what happens when you don't make as much? What are you gonna do? Is it gonna make you feel bad, or are you gonna feel good about yourself and like, oh shoot, dude, like I made more than I did last year. Yeah. And then it's a longer game. You gotta just in it to learn and you compete, but not to like. This isn't like the old days where it's like you're competing in a war to kill and win. Yeah, like really a Western duel. Yeah, this is kind of different, Yeah. I think that pretty much. I mean, there's a ton. You can go into a lot of things, but I think if you focus on that, it works with just everything, not just business. I just wanted to say that, right? Because like man, just every single thing that we talked about, right? Like comparing, being competitive, grit. Resilience, all that stuff is just like it would improve your normal day average life, even if like your goal was to just be like a stay-home mom and just like have a good family, like even those things that you learn are good lessons to like teach to your kids and all that, right? Like work hard, vision, dream. Man, I want as much. I just want to raise my kid to be alphas. Yeah, for sure. That's the truth. I want my kids to be alpha. I want them to lead the pack. Yeah. I don't want them to follow the pack. And I think that's an exciting thing. I think that's an exciting thing too. Like to be like, I wonder if I could, make something cool. Yeah. But Cool. Let's wrap
That
it
was
up
a good
there.
one, man. That was a good one. I just, to everybody listening out there, whether you want to, start a business or, hey, not even that. Maybe you just want to live a happy life. Like, there's nothing wrong with doing some personal development or learning ways from, entrepreneurs, rich people. Like,
They say entrepreneurs are going to save the world.
yeah, man. Entrepreneurs are really good people. So, but yeah. Anyways, guys, like, I believe everything that we said. I stand by it hard. So, yeah, try these things out. And if you enjoyed this, share it with some friends. And we'll see you on the next one.
Peace.
Peace out, guys.